Well, thank you guys for being here. You are watching the Non-Corporate Network. Soon we're going to have this really cool like ESPN thing spinning in and out of here. So we're excited. But this is Fill in the Blank, a show where we talk all things marketing, what is hot in business right now, the top 6 stories. Me and Dustin are going to take about 3 minutes per story and give our opposing viewpoints, ESPN style. So we love the format, keeps things interesting, keeps us moving and not rambling. So we're excited. But and I keep forgetting to introduce ourselves for the people that aren't out there. I'm Chaz Vandemotter.
I'm Dustin Trout.
We're both entrepreneurs and we love technology. We love advertising, and that's why we're bringing this to you. We're tired of watching the boring CNBC shows, and there's got to be a better alternative. So for those of you that are here and not at the office in the cubicle, thank you for being with us. We're excited to bring you some interesting stuff today, hopefully teach you a thing or two. If you have ideas or questions that you want to ask us, feel free to shoot them into the live stream and we will cover those. And that's about all I got. Dustin, you have any announcements you want to make?
Had another episode sponsored by Advantage. They're a pretty sweet company. I mean, especially during times like this when people have some downtime. So Advantage.com, what they do is they allow businesses to barter. An example would be we're a marketing agency. If we need accounting help and there's an account that needs marketing help, we can trade our services without spending our money, just using our excess capacity. And so there's probably quite a few businesses out there that just have a little extra time on their hands. Why not start building and get ahead once we get through this by visiting Advantage.com. Sean, really appreciate it. Chaz, have you used Advantage before?
I've used Advantage. I actually had notorious small business. I needed a bookkeeper. I'm terrible at accounting, and came out of nowhere. Ended up saving a boatload of money using Advantage, and it saved my butt when it came to tax season. So thank you, Advantage, just for being you. And I know there's like 1,000 local Phoenix business owners that are using this platform. So whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever it is, whether it's a consultant or a marketer or an accountant, whatever it may be, they've got you covered. So definitely check them out.
And they have some personal care stuff. I mean, I've seen nail salons, hair salon, massage therapists. I mean, it doesn't need to be B2B. There are some consumers. I mean, what business owner doesn't need a massage from time to time? So I don't think it's only B2B, but there's a lot out there. So make sure to check them out. Advantage.com.
I can get behind the massage. Yeah. Word. Well, are you ready to get into it?
Yeah. Without further ado, let's make it happen, Captain.
We've got some cool stories. So kicking it off, the booming business of handing out $10,000 on Instagram. Yes, $10,000. There are big business, big creators, big influencers that have kind of sparked this trend during quarantine of giving money out in an effort to promote themselves, grow their brand, keep attention on them. It's interesting. I mean, that's a way to. It's like clickbait. If you're giving out money, people are going to be interested. Dustin, what are your thoughts on handing out money on social media and how that can benefit you from a marketing perspective?
I mean, the handing out money to help, that's one thing. That's awesome. But if you're documenting it and pushing it and that's your main form of advertising, right, the intent isn't there. And I think it all goes away at that point. I mean, there's plenty of other ways to get attention if that's all you're doing it for. I mean, like I said, it's awesome to help some people out, but I mean, why just do it in kind-heartedness? If they want to share that, they can share it, but I mean, why broadcast it everywhere? And it just kind of, I don't know, to me, it might devalue your brand a little bit and maybe take away some of the trust. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, as a content creator, it is difficult to stay relevant, stay topical, and continue to raise the bar. If you're a YouTuber and you have advertisers, you had 1 million views on the last video, you have to keep that number up in order to keep growing your business, growing your brand. And so you can't hate on people for looking to, hey, I'm just going to give money away. It's going to keep attention on me. It's going to keep eyeballs on me. So I think that from that end, especially if they're handing it out, like, I know that it can be a little disingenuous from time to time, but I mean, I don't see how this is any different than paying for advertising. I actually think it's better, especially because they're not the ones handing out their 10 grand. They're working with a business that's like, hey, we'll give you 10 grand to give out on this video to homeless people. And we know that that's going to spark interest. And then our brand is going to be in a good light as a partner with you. So I don't think it's any different than advertising, but you're ending up giving the money to somebody besides Google or Facebook. So, I'm always going to be about that.
That is a valid point. But I mean, something that we talk a lot with our clients about is, I mean, is that the attention that you want? If someone's only tuning in because you're giving out free money, once we get through this, are these people going to be good subscribers? They're not so much good, but are they going to, I mean, people build audiences for a reason, whether it's selling their products, their services, whatever it may be. So, I mean, sure, you're going to build an audience, but is this audience going to help bring you more opportunity, more revenue, whatever it may be? So, I mean, I get it that you're building an audience, but I think there are better ways to build an audience, bring in more value. I mean, why not take the knowledge and expertise that you have and give that away and actually help someone move forward? I'm all teaching how to fish rather than catching a fish for someone. And right now people are catching fish for people. Use your knowledge, give that away, and teach someone how to fish so that when we're through this, they can make way more than the 10 grand that you're giving away.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what the ROI is on that. If you're putting up 10 grand, you're getting that back. But that's great perspective. Moving along, next story here, Shopify. So Shopify is attempting to create a local presence in the e-commerce space, but with this new app that they have, I believe it's called Shop. Is that what it's called? Shop. And essentially what Shop does is it connects you to local merchants in your area. And so it's a push towards local. We're seeing a lot of this in terms of advertising and ad products. And so I think that this is a step in the right direction for Shopify being able to get into the ad game a little bit, get into the local game a little bit. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is something that is going to stick, or is it going to be a flop?
I think there's other people doing it, like Google My Business, Google Maps. I mean, I hear what they're trying to do. It's awesome, but it's like the consumer's going to have to download an app. There's friction there. You're going to have to spend a ton of money building awareness. I think you might just be a little late to the party. I think there's more opportunity in using your time and resources elsewhere, like maybe figuring out how to allow retailers to connect online and show in-store transactions and tie in digital marketing to in-store foot traffic, that type of stuff. Or even like what we talked about on a previous episode where maybe coming up with an app that retailers can use that when something ships, people can see exactly where it's at. I think that would go further than trying to tackle a multi-billion-dollar Goliath. I mean, there is the David versus Goliath, and I hear what they're trying to do, but I think that ship has sailed, and I think it's just more ROI positive to spend their time and money elsewhere. Sounds like you're for it. I mean,
there are room for three people. If we look at the telecom industry, we've got Verizon, we've got AT&T, we've got Sprint, T-Mobile.
They're together now. They're together, so now there is only three. T-Mobile and Sprint are together.
There's room for three, baby. Let them have it. Let them get in there. I know that they're definitely at a disadvantage. They don't have a huge search engine, but there are so many merchants. E-commerce is continuing to grow, and Shopify has continued to set themselves up to capitalize. And so I am all for this. I think that they really need to take it to the next level. There's got to be some strategic acquisition out there that could help bolster this. I'm thinking of like a Yelp Shopify partnership. I know that Yelp has always been against selling out to Google. And I know that I'm not the most notorious Yelp fan here, but if Shopify were to pick them up, then they need to change your name and become Shopify. But, I see there being an opportunity with something like that where they can try to step it up and compete, because I think there's room here for this.
I am absolutely amazed, blown away that you even brought up the word Yelp. I mean, without fuming at the out of the ears. I mean, that's insane. I think
they don't deserve to have a company. They need to be bought out.
But to your point, I think it's going to take a strategic merger, acquisition type of thing to actually get some legs here. Again, I think there's better ways to spend their time and money, but only time will tell.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm already kicking myself about. I'm like Stephen A. Smith telling everybody the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. This is ridiculous. Okay, getting into our next story here. So Facebook has come out with their numbers. Q1 of 2020, they've gone up 100 million users across their family of apps that includes Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. As well as raised their revenue by over $2 billion in the last year. Kind of surprising with everything that's happening. I wonder if there would have been more growth. Obviously, we're trending in a direction that is very Facebook focused and centric in the advertising world and social media world. What are your thoughts on the growth? Is this something that's going to be sustainable, or is this too good to be true? In Q2, we're going to see some dramatic downfalls.
Well, first of all, I'm pretty amazed that there's still 100 million people out there that over the last year haven't had one of their apps. I mean, it's you either have it now or you're never going to. So the fact that they grew 100 million kind of blows my mind. I mean, in terms of the Q1 earnings, the data might be kind of skewed because this whole COVID thing and the stock market crash and all that type of stuff didn't happen until mid-March, which you're only 5-10% of the overall Q1. It'll be interesting to see what they do in Q2. But I mean, it sounds like their revenues are coming back in terms of how much advertisers are spending. So, I mean, even though it might be a rough Q2, it's only the first part of Q2. I think advertisers, businesses are eager to get back, and the marketing will follow suit. So I think they might still be able to have a strong Q2. But what are your thoughts?
You know, there's this app that I don't know if you've heard of, but we've talked about it on here. It's called TikTok. And I think that Mark Zuckerberg is shaking in his boots a little bit. This might be the last rise of Facebook because their ad platform is coming. Snapchat's ad platform is becoming much more robust. YouTube, Google My Business, and Google are partnering all together and creating a very sophisticated ad platform. And so when you start to have this decentralization of there's more than just Google, Facebook, and you have to decide, I think that people are realizing that and they're spreading it out a little bit more with their spend. They're going to audio ads. They're going to TV ads and connected TV, programmatic. They're going other places. And so I don't think this kind of growth is sustainable. Like you said, 100 million new people are using their app. How many more years can we go with adding 100 million new users, especially when China is not using it? It's like, how is this going to continue to rise like this? So I think that they're going to need to continue to innovate. They've done a great job of coming up with new products, but they can't just sit back and pat themselves on the backs right now. And I don't think they are. But there are big players coming, and they need to be looking over their shoulder.
Shaking in their boots. Love that term. And I love the programmatic TV, the streaming audio. I mean, we've been trying to help clients diversify kind of the channels that they're on. I mean, the cost to reach people on Facebook keeps going up. So, it'll be interesting to see how they innovate. I mean, anytime you hit a plateau, it'll show the true leaders. I mean, they were a huge leader in innovation from the beginning. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue to do that.
True.
Well, another Facebook story onto Facebook is trying to introduce live or ads for live streaming. So kind of what we're doing now, we're on Facebook Live. Essentially, they'll just plug a little advertisement right into the middle of what we're doing. I think it's, again, they're trying to figure out different ways to bring on revenue. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of the mid-roll. It just interrupts the user consuming the content. And so from an advertiser perspective, it's awesome. You have more placements to get brands out there, but I just hate disrupting people's attention on what they're viewing, and it makes people just leave. So you got to be contextual, extremely contextual, and be mindful of the consumer there. What are your thoughts on just them placing ads within Facebook live streams?
Facebook, when are you going to make a Facebook premium where I can just pay $5? I just want to pay $5. I don't want to see any more ads, man. Like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. It's like I was making the example earlier of Pandora was this new music streaming platform when it came out. It was awesome. Listened to all sorts of different music, and there was just an ad every 5 seconds, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying that I'll do anything to make it stop. I'll just pay $5 and get rid of ads. Same thing with Spotify. Same thing with Amazon Prime, just making money out of thin air to solve a problem. Oh my God. There's a huge deal right now with people are just like, I don't want to see any more ads. And, I think that with their ad kind of auctioning process, that it's a huge disadvantage to the business by this becoming a thing. But I don't know if it necessarily hurts Facebook that much. I mean, it comes down to how much a business is willing to bid. But if they could have 2 billion people or 3 billion people across their family of apps and they put out a $5 version per month, how much more money would they make? Like that would be ridiculous. So I'm interested in something like that. I think it was $27 per user of new revenue over the course of last year. If you divide the 100 million new people in the last story by $2 billion or $2.7 billion of revenue created, so it's $27 per year. That's less than $5 a month. So I'm looking at this going, could you not make more money off of individual users and take that approach? I think it's interesting, but
yeah, I mean, to your point, it's the only way that they can keep making money is if people are using the platform. And if you keep introducing new types of ads that disrupt what they're consuming, you're going to get people to leave. As you mentioned previously on the last right. take, there's just more social platforms hitting the market, and so the more you interrupt people's consumption, the more they're just going to leave. And I think at the end of the day, they're just trying to make more money. If they created a premium login or a premium account that didn't have advertising, they're still bringing that revenue without bringing in the disruption and getting people to leave the platform.
Hey, Facebook, where's our check? If you put an ad on our show, we better be seeing that money.
Exactly. All right, on to the next one. So Anchor has launched a new platform or thing where you could take a video conference and turn it into a podcast automatically. So, I mean, as we've been discussing, there's more and more people doing virtual events, just doing more virtual stuff, obviously, with the shelter in place and the stay-at-home orders. So they're trying to help people not consume, but produce more content, which everyone knows or everyone thinks that they should be doing. And so if you're going to be educating, why not take the recording and turn it into another piece of content? I think it's a innovative move. I don't think I've seen anything else out there that's like it. What's your take on them moving forward with this?
Hey, killing two birds with one stone, man. I mean, any way that you can get ahead of the game in terms of video recording and conferencing right now and create products around that, I think it's a very strategic move and a great move. So I'm all in support of what they're doing here. I think that in this instant gratification society, Anchor was very popular because it helped people to be able, if you guys don't know what Anchor is, it's an app that allows you to upload an audio clip and distribute it across, I don't know, like 5-10 different podcast networks. Accurate. So I think that this is a step in the right direction. It's on brand for sure. We're going to make your life even easier. We already made it really easy by introducing our initial product. We're about to make it even more easy. And I think that they're really capitalizing on the trend of what personal branding has really brought to light is repurposing your content and maximizing that. And so if I can now take a video like this and then I can export the audio directly into a podcast and take that video and put that somewhere else, it's just one less thing I have to do and another 5-10 minutes of time saving. That can go a long way. That can be the difference between needing a VA to help you versus doing it yourself. And the power of broke, baby. That's Damon John expression. You can innovate when you don't have a lot of money to spend. And so when you have a product like this that's free and you have the ability to use that to make yourself more productive, I think it empowers the entrepreneur. And so I am all for it.
Yeah, I mean, I love this play. I mean, we're just huge proponent of document what you're doing rather than produce or overly produce. It's just more organic. People can build a relationship more. And it just opens up a world of opportunities and how you can kind of just squeeze as much out of it. And I mean, from one hour podcast that we typically do, I mean, you can get 9-10 pieces of content after you clip it out and then you get the audio. I mean, there's just so many different things that you can do with that one piece of content. And it's just allowing people more at bats, which is awesome because then it just brings out more innovation. I mean, if you now don't have to have a team to chop it up, produce on another time and all that, you're just going to have more content at your disposal.
Right.
The trick is going to be how do you build an audience around that that's going to help bring you opportunity and revenue. So excited to see how people leverage that.
Absolutely. No, I'm right there with you. I mean, you know, it's good. It's never a bad thing to have more content than you're able to put out there. And so, yeah, if you're trying to put content out, it's a great way to do it.
Exactly. So for our last and final headline, Starbucks is ramping all their marketing up this next week. They've cut down tremendously since the closure of most of their locations in mid-March. So what they're forecasting is that they'll have about 90% of their locations open by early June, so within the next 5 to 6 weeks. And so in response, or the ramp up there is going to be hitting the marketing hard, trying to reach people, raise the awareness, and start filling locations up. Now, I'm sure this is going to be pretty polarizing because people are going to want the stay-at-home extended. People should be getting back. I mean, it's interesting there, but I mean, from more of the news articles that we're seeing, I mean, Facebook advertising revenue is going up, Starbucks about to ramp back up. I mean, it seems like people are ready to get back. But I mean, what are your thoughts? Is now a good time to start that, or?
Hey, you know, I'm always going to tell you, you got to dumb it down and think about what are the perceptions going on right now. So if Starbucks, you're going to come out with an ad campaign, you better have those employees with yellow gloves on, scrubbing stuff, having masks and gloves, preparing drinks. I mean, that's what people are worried about right now. And especially in a breeding ground for coronavirus like Starbucks, where everyone's sitting there together, talking, interacting, touching the same stuff. They've always been a trendsetter. They've always kind of led the charge. And so I think they need to make it super obvious why it is okay for everybody to go back, how it's going to be safe for everybody to go back, because I think they make a lot of their money off of just people hanging out there for 5 hours and end up buying a couple of coffees and buying a coffee person that they're meeting with. And so I think that if you want to get people to leave their house and stay somewhere, I mean, everybody's got their home office set up right now. So it's like the difference, the substitute to going to get coffee now is be lazy, stay at home, and do a call like this. And so they really got to knock that down and go, listen, here's the reasons why it's safe to be back. You want to get FaceTime with people. You want to build rapport. And the best way to do that is face-to-face. And you're not going to risk anything because we've steamed the whole place out or whatever it is. But I think that they've got to make it extremely obvious why it's safe to get back.
Yep, I think that's probably going to be the center of their entire ad campaign is, one, the longing for face-to-face conversation, and two, this is how we're going to help keep you safe, whether it's
Right.
advertising the protocols that they're taking or setting the rules of when people do come in, just make sure that you're 6 feet apart, whatever it may be. But, I mean, I think it's pretty interesting because, I mean, they have a huge presence in China, so they've already gone through all of this. So I'm wondering if the timing is too early or they might know something that most other American companies might not and just making this decision because they have some learnings already in the knowledge bank. So I mean, it'll be interesting. I think. I mean, I'm ready for things to get back to normal. But
yeah, I mean, if they lead the charge here and then they set the trend, then you know they're going to be the ones that are saving money because everyone's going to come behind them and start advertising, and prices will go up, and they will have been the first to do it. So I think they have that first movers advantage if they are to do this relatively soon.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for being with us. That covers our 6 stories for today. I know the days are blending together. Like saying have a great weekend doesn't really do much anymore because like but you know, over the next 2 weeks, you know, stay safe, and you know, we'll be here doing this 3 times a week. Check us out, 8 a.m. And yeah, thank you again to you, Dustin, and our production team, Colton, Andre. You guys are killing it. We appreciate you. And yeah, Sean, Advantage.com. Check him out. Anything else you want to add, Dustin?
No, just rise, grind, repeat. We're almost through this, whether you think so or not. But even if it's a month or two that it prolongs, it's right around the corner. Just keep grinding. We'll get through it, and excited to touch base again on Monday.
Find those opportunities, baby. This has been Fill in the Blank. You are watching the Non-Corporate Network. Thank you for tuning in. we'll be back next week with some more hard-hitting stories. And that's it.
We'll be back.
You guys like the set back here? I got it built last night. I had a whole construction crew come in and do it.
Did you use Advantage? Trade some of your marketing knowledge for some set builders?
Yeah, they've got some great carpenters, and we made it happen.
Love it.
Oh, gosh. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.
See you later.